Hi everyone! The purpose of this video is to give you an introduction to the techniques you'll need to master for dual modal teaching. There are many ways to teach effectively in this manner. Keep in mind that this is a new way of teaching that requires practice. As always, start slow and work your way through the first few sessions before you branch out to more complex applications of the technique. To get you started, it's important to consider how the two groups will view the same session. You will want the online group and the in-person group to have as similar an experience as possible. Here are a few tips to help you do that. Make sure you greet your online students just like you would your in-person students. Let your online students know when recording has begun. Remind your online learners to use the chat tool and tools like the Nod extension to raise their hand to participate in the discussion or ask questions. Provide directions to online students for independent practice. It helps if the online students have similar resources to work with. For example, a worksheet your in-person students are using could be shared with the online students as a Google Doc. At the end of the instructional segment, be sure to check for any questions from online students and announce the end of the recorded sessions and set a time to meet back up for online follow-up. For your in-person group, greet them just like you would and remind them that you have online students present in the session. Remember to establish your classroom norms for questions. When your in-person student asks questions, be sure to repeat them so online students can hear them. It's a good practice to alternate questions between in-person and online to keep everyone engaged. Once you've finished your recorded sessions and have given your online students their instructions, do the same for your in-person students and allow them to begin working. To help you with this, ask one or two students to serve as liaisons between you and the online students. Ask your student helpers to let you know when there's a question or a response from an online student. You can ask them to remind you to start or stop the recording. These student helpers will help you stress less and engage and establish a strong learning community from your online students. Now that you've got a handle on the students, let's talk about the tech. Managing your microphone and camera are important. Remind students when you want them to turn their mic or camera off or on. If you're using a desktop and Chromebook simultaneously, make sure only one of them has the microphone on. Otherwise, you'll get echo feedback, which is really annoying. When you're recording, make sure everyone knows when the recording begins or ends. Record and share all of your instructional lectures, and student work time can be recorded and archived for future reference if you like, but it doesn't have to be. If you're using a particular tech tool, make sure you allow time to demonstrate how to use or locate it. You can assign student helpers to work with students who struggle with this. Make sure that when you set student classroom expectations, follow through with them. You can use the host tools to mute or remove a disruptive student. You can pause the recording if you need to address this situation so you don't create a separate recording. Let's take all of this and combine it into one session. Here's what the end of the session might look like.
All right, guys, and that is today's lesson. Yes, Paula?
Mr. Science, there is a question online.
Let me go ahead and check that. I'm going to go ahead and end our recording. And I do see that question. I'm going to go ahead and get everybody else started, and I'll come right back over to you.
Dual modal teaching is challenging, but by using some of these strategies and a little help from your students, you can make it work. It'll take a little bit of practice, but you can do it. If you need help, reach out to one of the curriculum team members of your choice and we'll come running. Thanks for tuning in today.